96 file is on base? God bless you. I forgot she only sent me password. That is a pre-trial. The show cause?
Yes.
Okay, on the record in the matter of Lansing Automakers versus Kimberly Woods, 96-00097. Can I have your appearance, counsel?
Plaintiff Lapku, Tim Smith, P48259. Good morning, Your Honor.
Kimberly Woods here. Come to the table. So, was a date that was set for motion to show cause. You know, the docket says pre-trial. So my understanding is that there were some documents that were supposed to be turned over to the plaintiff, and they have not been turned over.
Yeah, I turned over one and I just found another one from one of the things that he needed. The other ones, she, at my bank, she printed off one, which is November. I didn't know I was supposed to go back to August. I just thought it was 30 days, but I can get those done again too.
Okay, Mr. Smith, you received a portion of the documents, but not all of them?
I received 2 pages, actually. In August, after the original examination, I sent a letter to her reminding her 6 months of her monthly statements from Direct Express, Comerica Bank, and Apple Pay. So there's 3 different accounts. What she did, we were here on the 16th of December because she had failed to produce these documents. We discussed this with her. And what she sent was, her November Comerica statement was 4 pages. She sent 2 of the 4 and then nothing else, nothing on the other accounts. And we've been trying to get these documents since August.
you speak up so we can hear you now?
I didn't get 4 pages from the bank, I just got 2 pages, that's what they sent me. I got a copy of that right here.
She's got in her hand too.
That one.
You'll note at the top of what she's handing you, Your Honor, it says it's page 1 of 4. And the second page is 2 of 4. And that's just the November statement. Under the subpoena shows 6 months.
Okay, so this is November. Well, this right here says January 2024.
That was the Direct Express, that's the one I just
From
found.
Comerica?
Yeah,
What
I
did-
can call the Express and see if I can get from. to
Where
back
was-
then too.
Where's your other statement that you turned over?
That one,
This is just one. Correct? Yeah,
Yes, ma'am, that's all I got from Comerica.
this is for, but this is not for 6 months.
No, ma'am, because it was Christmas and that, the lady who did it, she left that day. And she didn't know I needed all the way to August. She could have
Well,
printed them out for me.
she would have known if you told her.
I know, I thought it was 30 days. I didn't know it was all the way to August.
60 days, 6 months worth, correct?
Yeah, so that would be from August to.
From
now.
all of those, from Comerica, from, what's the other entities that you need it from?
Direct
Direct
Express.
Express and Apple Pay. If you have the November statement from Comerica, what she did send me, you'll see on November 21st, a $377 cash deposit from her Apple Pay account, or I'm sorry, her Cash App account. And so I have those Cash App records, we need to figure out where's the money coming from? How's she getting money through her Cash App that's then being deposited through her Comerica account? And I can't complete the exam until I have these documents. It's
How long is it gonna take you to get the 6 months of statements for those entities?
The bank, that won't be long. I can get those, she can print those out from August until now, well, till got the November one.
Why do you keep saying from August until now? Did you turn over 2 months already?
No, but it says, I think from 6 months, and that from last August until now,
No. June.
June, okay. I'll write that down.
You just asked for 6 months to
That's
them.
for 6
So I
months.
mean, the last 6 months of statements.
And then the Direct Express, I got their number now since I found this statement. I can call them and request from June.
just so that the defendant and I are clear, Your Honor, these Comerica statements are showing substantial deposits into Comerica from her Cash App. So 6 months of her Cash App monthly account statements as well.
Correct. My understanding is you want 6 months from Cash App, Apple Pay, Comerica, and Direct Express.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that's 4 different entities that you need to get 6 months of statements turned over.
And the Apple Pay, how do you get those? From the Apple Pay, I just. But, Your Honor, I
Yes.
have a question.
Yes.
Can you tell me where? I need a copy of the original debt. I don't even know what I'm in here for. It says Last Q. I haven't had any ties with Last Q in years. I don't know if this is even me. Back when he got started with me, you said it went back to 16. I remember you said
Yeah,
that.
what you do is you take the case number, which is the number I called out in the beginning, and you go down to the 5th floor to the clerk's office.
Mhm.
And they have you can get whatever you want from the file from them.
But I don't even know why we're here.
This is a discovery, so that the matter has long been resolved by a judgment, and they've not gotten the money under the judgment. So that's what the discovery is for, this discover how they can get the money owed under the judgment.
And I'll find out what it is when I go down there.
You can go down there and get seek a copy of the file or whatever you want out of the file, whether it be the judgment or the complaint. Um, and that'll help refresh your recollection. You have any other questions, ma'am?
Yes. You know, I would like for this to be resolved. Back in 18, he garnished my check when I was working every week. Then when COVID came and I got unemployment, I was paying them $50 a month. I've been trying to resolve this. And I really don't even, like I said, really don't even know what this debt is.
I can't give you that information because I don't even have a physical file. We transitioned to a virtual system. They upload certain documents. And because this is just a discovery matter, I don't have access to the full file. This is a 1996 file. You got to go down to the clerk's office to get the file.
Fifth floor.
Yep, fifth floor. When you get off the elevator, you'll take a right all the way to the back.
Okay, so if I get the Direct Express from June 24.
6 months of statements from Comerica, Direct Express, Cash App. Give that to her, please. I actually wrote it down. Oh, wonderful. You can give it to her.
Yes, ma'am, may I have time to get some thank you for this. Some representation.
Representation?
Yes.
You want to hire an attorney?
I need to, because this is stressing me out.
If you want to hire an attorney, you can hire an attorney. That's up to you. I gotta give you time to get the documents anyways. And so I'm gonna set this out 30 days.
30 days?
Yes,
I think that'll be enough
enough time to work.
to get everything.
It
They
should
should
be
mail it
enough.
out to me, because I don't know how long they're gonna take. I know Direct Express
Well,
will mail- Direct Express will mail it to me. I don't know how long they're gonna take for that.
okay, well, you should be making those requests immediately. If you made those requests immediately and you have not received them in 30 days, that's one thing. But to make it the request the day or the week of your next court date, it's not appropriate either. And that also gives you enough time to seek representation from legal counsel.
Now, how do I get that? If I don't have any money,
How do you get what?
free legal counsel or?
There's no free legal counsel for a civil matter. You would have to hire an attorney at your own expense. You're welcome. Unless you can also, it's up to you. You can reach out to legal services, see if they have any support. And if you're looking for attorney referral, you could go to the state bar to find out a list of referrals for attorney referrals. But again, those will be at your own expense to hire an attorney. There's no court appointed counsel for civil matters.
You're gonna give me 30 days, are you gonna
Let me
tell
give
me
you
the time?
let me give you the date right now.
February 11th at 2 p.m.
February 11th at 2 p.m.
Thank you,
Have any
Judge.
other questions? Thank you. Do you have any other questions today, ma'am?
My daughter just reminded me, I'm sorry, she didn't even talk to me in the courtroom, but she just, I can't remember what I need to ask. So she was just telling me what I told her I wanted to ask today. So that's why she was.
I get it, but we're on the record, and so everything that's stated is getting picked up. It's also disruptive. So if she wants to get your attention and you whisper it to you, that's one thing. But to blurt out is not appropriate.
Okay, ma'am, thank you.
You're
And then I'll send all this when I get it to him, right?
You're gonna turn all of those documents over to him. When you get those, if for whatever reason you're making this request and you don't get it within 30 days, we can address that at your next court date. But I would imagine that they should be able to get those within 30 days to you.
Now, if he gets everything, we're still to come back here.
Yes, you're still to come here because what he's trying to do is an examination he has to review the documents and hopefully he would get that stuff before the next court date. That gives him time to review it, to see if there's any resources coming in, financial resources that can be used to pay the past due debt. Uh, Some resources may be protected, some aren't. So he's got to look at them and see.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Let's see. Mr. Credible said something. Okay, on the record in the matter of Dice Auto Sales versus Amanda Alvarez, 24-06731, appearance for the record, counsel.
Good morning, Your Honor. Brent Cradival appearing on behalf of plaintiff, Dice Auto Sales P75845.
Okay, I see that there is Amanda Alvarez present via Zoom. Is that accurate, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, the court has received a copy of a joint pretrial statement that the parties worked through. Mr. Gradiville, I do see your signature there. Ms. Alvarez, did you have any questions about this joint pretrial statement?
No, I do not.
Okay, and then may we put your signature on there with your permission?
Yes, you may.
My apologies, Your Honor. I meant to throw that on there. I did email that directly to her as well.
I signed and dated it for today, and then you'll get your next dates in the mail. Any questions for the court, Ms. Alvarez?
No, not at this time.
Any additional matters for the record, counsel?
No, Your Honor, not for me. Thank you.
Thank you. You're all set.
All right, thank you. Take care.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one. You're welcome. We did not see anyone for the 8:30 discovery, but it said there was no service. And Mr. Dua is here for a pre-trial. I'm sorry, a bench trial. Jennifer Irwin present. Okay, the parties have already met.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and there's been no resolution.
Unfortunately not.
Okay, well, you can get all set up. Okay, on the record in the matter of Jennifer Irwin versus SNS Acquisitions 23-00699 GC. Council, can I have your appearance?
Thank you, Your Honor. Sam Dewey here on behalf of SNS Acquisitions Group, defendant, counter plaintiff.
State your name for the record, please.
Jennifer, I'm Rodman now because I got married, but Irwin.
And ma'am, this is your lawsuit. You're suing the defendant. You say you're filing a claim to pursue recourse for lost wages and time and the amount of $5,950. Is that correct?
No, that was for the, at first when I filed for small claims and then they didn't respond. So then I did a civil claim. And that's for, the hotel bills and doctor bills and everything. I filed 2 times, first small and then civil.
Alright, 2,000. I'm just trying to find an actual complaint.
Understood. It's one of the handwritten.
I get that, but there's 12,000 pages in here and they just bunch them all together. And I'm supposed to sift through them all and find out which one is going on here. And then whenever you file something, they just dump it on top of it. So,
If it helps, my file looked like that until this morning as well.
no tabs, no anything. Let's see here. The one I'm looking at was handwritten, that's at the back of the file, but that's from the 20. That's the March 2023.
Correct, Chair.
That's the one you have,
That's the one I have, and there's
March
been,
27.
correct, there's been no amended complaint.
Well, that's what I'm talking about then. We
Yes.
are on the same page.
Correct.
I'm looking for something else because you told me that's not what it is. The complaint I have in the file says that you're suing them for $5,950 for lost wages. You said I acquired this total from adding up all the different costs I needed to make because of his neglect of the property. The property at 6325 Somerset Road, Lansing, Michigan was infested with toxic mold. The landlord was made aware of this mold on October 23rd, 2022, and no effective action was taken. Due to the mold damage, we lost $2,500 of furniture and personal belongings. Furthermore, this mold affected my health and my 4-year-old's health so bad to the point where I had to take my son to a mold specialist. This cost was $400 cash. My security deposit for that property of $975 was never returned and no reason was given. And I am suing for $2,000 for emotional distress and $75 for court fees.
Yep, that was my old one, and since then, we did receive a security deposit of $975 back.
You got your security deposit back. When did you file an amended complaint?
The first one must have been in March.
That must have been. I want to know exactly when you filed. You're telling me this is no longer what you're suing for. When did you come to the court and file something differently?
Possibly 4/7/23. Cause then I paid like $75 or $80 for it to go civil. I came down here and some foreign did that.
Paid $75 March 27, 2023, when you filed the original complaint that I just read.
Okay.
That's a counter. I've not seen you file a new complaint. You have a copy of this new complaint that you say you filed? Don't approach without permission. This is not anything you file. This is a summons.
Okay. Oh, no, that was it, 3/7/23.
What I read is accurate and correct as to what you filed.
Yes.
Okay, and so what proof do you have to support your claim and that you suffered financial loss due to mold infestation?
I have receipts from the mold testing that we paid to get the house tested. Receipts from the doctor that I had to take my kid to. I had to take him to a specialist that didn't take insurance. Storage unit fee to put our stuff that we could save, like hardwood and plastic, because we couldn't take no furniture. And the hotel bill,
Okay,
because our house got red tagged and we were no longer allowed to live there.
so you were living in a property, you said it got red tagged. Was it because of the mold or another condition?
Because of the mold. It
Okay.
was
Okay, and so how did you end up leaving the property? Was there an eviction or did you just leave?
It got rent tagged. We weren't allowed to enter
Okay.
it, so we had to stay at a hotel for 3 months.
Okay, and so, during this time, what period of time did you live in this house?
We lived in that house for almost 2 years, 1 or 2 years.
What years?
2020 till like September of 2020 until the beginning of 2023, January, when it got rent tagged.
Okay, and so the medical bills you have are from what period of time?
I took him to the doctor on January 31st, 2023.
Okay, and you're saying your son got sick, do you believe because of the mold? You took him to see a medical professional. Did you subpoena the medical professional to be here today?
No,
Okay, do you have medical records to support what happened, or you just have a bill?
maybe just a bill.
Okay. January 2020. And what other evidence did you say you have there? A mold specialist?
Yes.
When did you have to have a mold specialist come out?
We had him come out in December of 2022 because we found a lot of nasty mold, even mushrooms growing in my son's room.
This is before the house was red tagged?
Yes.
Okay. And so, did you notify the city? Is that why it was red tagged?
Yes.
Okay. You have pictures of the condition?
Yes, my husband does.
Or are you intending to call him as a witness or something?
Sure.
He's a defendant, rather, third-party defendant.
He's my husband. He lived there too.
Okay. You intended to call him though to testify as to the condition?
Yes.
Because where are the pictures?
In his phone.
Okay. And so I'm supposed to go through his phone to get the pictures?
Yes.
What other evidence do you have?
Um,
The medical, hotel bills?
yes,
When were you in a hotel?
from February 2nd until April 6th,
Of what year?
2023.
Okay, and what other evidence did you have there?
Just storage unit receipt.
So while you were in, you're saying while you were in a hotel, your things were in storage.
Yes. Things that-
Did you provide copies of this evidence to Mr. Duro?
Yes,
No, you're right.
When did you provide copies? When did you provide him
oh,
copies?
I didn't give him copies. I just showed him the paperwork in that room.
You have to provide copies.
Oh,
Make some copies of that for her, please. Can we give Mr. Dewey a copy?
I haven't.
Okay, I just want you to review and tell me you have objections to those as exhibits.
I do, Your Honor. The reason being, not so much as exhibits is there was nothing alleged in the complaint about recovery for storage unit or what have you. There was 4 requests pled for in the complaint. 2,500 for furniture and personal items that got allegedly destroyed, $400 in cash to the doctor, 2,000 in emotional distress, and 75 in court costs. So at this point, if I don't object to these coming in as evidence, I would be in a way allowing for additional items that weren't applied for in the complaint to be recoverable.
So you're only objecting to the receipt for the storage, because she had other receipts here.
Storage is the first one I looked at, and then the again, same, there's, to the best of my knowledge, there's no request for recovery for any hotel in the March 27, 2023 complaint. So I would be objecting to all of those. And then the air and water testing, there was no mention of that in the original complaint. And the original complaint says $400 for the doctor. The receipt says $350. I would allow that though, because it's in the original complaint.
Okay, I'm going to admit the exhibits. They may not go to the weight of what she's seeking recovery for, but they do go to, I want copies, please. They do go to her credibility as to whether or not there was some mold in the property.
Understood.
And then there was supposed to be pictures, which pictures should have been printed. I don't particularly care to go through people's phones. However, if you have them in a form that I can view, show them to Mr. Dewey first.
That's the wrong mushroom.
Okay. That's the one.
Yeah. Of the fungi that was like,
You all, this is the first you've ever seen these photos, Mr.
That's the
Dewey?
first I've ever seen it.
What happened during discovery? Why were these photos passed on over? Why is he not seeing any of this stuff until today?
cause we sent all the emails and pictures and stuff to Jeremy, the manager.
Mr. Dewey, did you request any of this stuff from them?
I did not, Your Honor. I didn't know that it existed in order to request anything.
Well, how many pictures do you have there, ma'am?
Just one of the mushroom fungi, whatever.
Your Honor, there's no date or timestamp on that photo. There's no indication of its location. It's just a picture.
Are there properties on there?
No, it's just a picture.
No, the properties in the photo. It tells you when it was taken.
No, because it's sent from the mall guy.
You have email chain or a text message change where the mold guy sent you that picture?
Yes.
It was just sent yesterday from the mall guy.
Okay, what room in your house was this supposed to be?
This was in my son's bedroom.
Can you get the phone so I can see if there's properties on there? Has this been saved to your phone?
No, it's just in a text message.
That's the problem, it's not saved. You gotta go into the phone where it was saved and see if it has any properties attached to the photo.
Okay.
But you're saying that it was your son's bedroom?
Yes.
And who's the mold guy?
Just somebody we found online. His name is Rich Walton. And he said he is available today if you need to call and speak with him or.
I don't need to call and speak with him. He needs to come in, be sworn in to testify.
Oh,
And he's supposed to be here at 9 o'clock. It was a date and time set for trial. You're supposed to bring all your evidence. I don't go seek out your evidence for you. So what do you intend to do, ma'am?
um. I have the results of his test.
You can't testify as to the results of this
Okay.
test. He has to testify.
And there's no way to do a phone testifying.
No, there is not. This is Rich Walton, you're saying?
Yes. I have his business card and receipt.
I recognize that. I have a copy
Oh,
here.
okay.
But he was supposed to be here to testify. You can't tell me what he discovered because that would be a hearsay, but also are you certified in the ability to do mold testing?
No, ma'am.
Exactly, so that would be him. He would have to testify. Is he able to get on Zoom in 5 minutes?
Yes.
And he needs to log into my Zoom.
Okay, and how do you do that?
I'll
Okay.
give you the information. We're off the record. for 5 minutes. Was he able to log in on Zoom?
Sent him a message, man, he just hasn't responded, he said he had 9 o'clock, 2 minutes, and he said he had to test it.
What other evidence did you want to provide, or did you want, let's call your husband as your witness?
That's about it.
You wanted him, your husband, to give some testimony? Is that accurate or no?
I don't think that's necessary.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, plaintiff would call Jeremy Williams to stand.
You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give us the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury. I can have a seat. Thank you, first and last name is spelled both.
Jeremy Williams, JEREMY,
You can proceed, Counselor.
Mr. Williams, for whom are you employed?
SNS Acquisitions Group.
And how long have you been with SNS?
2010-ish, so about 14 years.
Turning your attention to around the time of the fall of 2000, what was your position with the company then? 2020, excuse me.
I was the landlord for our single family home portfolio.
Approximately how many at the time?
75 to 100.
Do you have any membership or ownership interest in SNS Acquisitions Group?
No.
Thank you. Are you familiar with the plaintiff in this case?
Yes.
How so?
I met the plaintiff when she was looking for a house at the end of 2020.
Okay. And what, if anything, became of that relationship with you?
We showed them the house, the subject property to this matter on Somerset, and she eventually ended up filling out an application, which we accepted, and they signed a lease to rent the place.
And when you say they, who's they?
That would be the plaintiff and then Mr. Douglas Redmond.
Is he in the courtroom?
Yes.
Can you point him out?
Yes, he's in the back row.
Please let the record reflect that Douglas Redmond, the third party defendant, has been identified by Mr. Williams.
Are you objecting to his identification at all?
No.
Identification? No.
Thank you. Do you recall the terms of the original lease agreement with Ms. Irwin and Mr. Redmond?
For the most part, yeah. Other than the start date, I believe it started somewhere on or around October 1st of 2020, and then we do all 1-year leases, so that would have ended the lease on or around the end of September 2021.
Okay. And then come September 30th, 2021, did the defendants, did Ms. Irwin and Mr. Redmond vacate the premises?
No, standard procedure would have been to send a renewal offer about 60 days before they were set to vacate with a renewal offer, which they signed.
Okay. And then were there any other subsequent renewal offers that were signed?
Yeah. So the first year was, I believe, October 20 to September 2021. So they signed a renewal for 21 through 22, and then a renewal for 22 through September of 2023.
Understood. Did they complete their lease agreement through September of 2023?
No.
Do you recall why they vacated?
Yes, correct.
Do you recall why they vacated?
For alleged mold in the property.
Okay. Do you recall when you first received notice about the alleged mold on the property?
Yeah, I received an email alleging, beginning of the year in January 2023, the first week of January, I received an email stating that the place was infested with mold, and I requested a copy of the mold report, which was sent to me by the plaintiff.
Do you recall the exact date that you received that mold report?
January 5th, 2023. January 4th, 2023.
Okay. And did you respond in any way?
Yes.
How did you respond?
I responded with a letter drafted and sent on the 5th, the next day.
Do you recall reviewing the counter complaint as well as the answer to the original
Yes.
complaint in this file?
Yes, I did.
Thank you. Was that letter included in those documents that were submitted to the court and
Yes.
to Ms. Irwin and Mr. Redmond?
Yes.
Do you recall the exhibit?
I think it was Exhibit C.
Thank you.
I think it was their email first and then our response letter.
Can you briefly describe the contents of that letter?
That letter would have been our offer, like how we would like to proceed with the matter. And now that they were alleging mold, we were giving them some options in the scenario.
Do you recall, can you summarize those options?
Leave. We had a couple other similar properties that we could have walked them through, and if they had interest, that we would have moved them into. And I don't remember, that's the two that I remember off the top of my head.
And do you recall a date by which they were to comply?
We had asked for them to give us the keys as soon as possible. I don't remember if we gave them a specific date.
Okay. If I said on or around January 16th, would that refresh your recollection?
That seems like giving them 10 days would be something that was something I would do.
To the best of your knowledge, did they return keys or indicate that they had vacated the premises permanently by January 16th, 2023?
No, it wasn't until February 13th. I sent an email like, hey, I would like the keys so that we can assess. And I think there was a response that I would get them over the weekend, and I ended up getting them towards the end of the following week. I want to say February 13th-ish was the day that we got the keys after our letter was sent on January 5th.
How were you notified that possession was relinquished on February 13th?
Jennifer sent an email that said she had left the keys in our box, our drop box on the side of our main office building.
I have a question. You said you needed to get the key so you can assess what?
To assess if there was any damage in the property. We had not been into the property at any point yet. I had not been, no one from our team had been into the property yet.
Okay, so there was a notification to you all that there was mold, but nobody went in there to assess if there was mold?
I got the notice on January 4th and we sent the letter on January 5th. And nobody went into the property, no.
Is it your understanding that when you received the letter on January 3rd or January 4th, that Ms. Redmond, Ms. Irwin and Mr. Redmond were still residing, sleeping at the premises?
Yes.
Were you aware that the property got red tagged?
No.
At some point, did you become aware?
Yes.
Do you recall when that was?
Not the specific date, no, but I want to say the first week of February.
Okay. And you still, at that point, had not received keys to the premises?
No keys.
But you did, in your letter, offer various options to terminate the lease immediately.
I believe there was 3 options. I just a short of vacating with no liabilities left on the contract. Us offering them something similar to move into if it was something they wanted to move into, and I just can't remember what the third option was that we had offered.
Understood. What, if anything, would happen to the security deposit?
We had agreed to return the security deposit to them.
Okay. Was the house a registered rental with the city of Lansing?
Yes.
Do you recall the most recent date of the most recent date of the inspection around that time?
Yeah, so that currently the house is registered as a rental through 2025. I want to say September 2025. Our last inspection was sometime either August or September of 2022.
Does your office keep books and records of how maintenance work orders come in?
Yes.
Does it keep books and records of how city inspections are handled?
Yes.
Does the please let the record reflect that I'm showing Ms. Irwin and Mr. Redmond what has been previously marked as defendant's exhibit D. Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Your Honor, may I approach your bench?
Yes.
Thank you. Copy for you, Your Honor. Thank you. Mr. Williams, can you describe what is contained in this packet?
Yeah, the first page is the City of Lansing certificate of compliance for rental property after you pass their inspections, which the last page was a rental inspection that was conducted on 10/4/2022, which generated the work order, which is the second page you see in this packet, our work order S&S that would have been given to our techs to go out and conduct a work order.
Okay, so there was a city inspection on the property roughly 60 days before you were given notice of this, the tenants vacating due to alleged mold.
Correct.
Okay, and when the city inspected, did they require any repairs or anything like that?
Yeah, there was a small list of repairs generated there. That's the last page that you see of what they wanted fixed before they would continue the rental license.
Thank you.
With 30 days to conduct those repairs.
Understood. And those repairs were conducted?
Correct. I believe we were called for a re-inspection probably that next week. And then we passed their re-inspection and then you can see on the certificate of rental that they issued this on 10/25/22.
Thank you. Mr. Williams, when how long have you been managing properties?
14 years.
Okay, and in the standard course of your business, is there any sort of document that you request of the tenants to address issues such as moisture, mold, mildew?
Yeah, we sign a moisture addendum when we in our lease packet is there no a moisture addendum.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
May I approach your bench?
Yes.
Please let the record reflect that I have given all parties copies of defendant's proposed exhibit A. Mr. Williams, is this, please describe this document.
This is our moisture addendum. And this one looks like the one that we're still using today.
Okay, and which property was this particular?
This moisture addendum was for 6325 Somerset.
Okay, and did the tenant sign it?
Yep, on the bottom there on 10/6/2020.
Thank you. Can you briefly describe the general reason or what this document contains?
So part of the when we put tenants in the property, we have to rely on them to make sure that they understand that in areas of the house that you experience high humidity and wet weather and stuff, you know, your showers, mud rooms, things like that. That under certain circumstances, there are situations where if it's not taken care of properly, that it can inhibit mold growth and that kind of stuff. So we include a list of things to make sure 22 things now, to help tenants make sure that they're doing their due diligence and making sure that they're not creating high moisture environments for mold growth within the property.
After the defendants vacated the property in February, I believe you said February 13th, 2023, what was discovered in regards to mold or mildew or what have you?
All right, so when we first entered the property, there's in the adjacent room to one of the bedrooms, there would be a wall that the furnace is on and the water heater on, and that's the same room where you exit out into the backyard of the property. That room had experienced what looked to be some sort of leak from the ceiling at some point, and the drywall showed signs of a past leak.
Okay. And were you, through the course of Ms. Irwin's and Mr. Redmond's tenancy, were you informed about the possibility of any sort of roof leak or roof damage?
No.
Do you recall if the roof was replaced during the time of their tenancy?
The roof was replaced, I want to say, in November of 2022.
You said the roof was replaced in November?
Correct. To the house.
Do you recall who, did you use a contractor?
Yes.
Do you recall who that would be?
Veteran Home Construction.
And was that roof replacement permitted with the city?
Yes.
So
There would have been inspections at tear off and at the end.
understood. Thank you. And so just in November of 2022, just a few months before all of this alleged mold occurrence and all that, it had a brand new roof.
Yes.
And you said that the water heater was on that same adjacent wall to the bedroom that Ms. Irwin was describing.
Sure.
What if any repairs were done to the water heater?
Sure. I want to say October, it could have been September. We had an emergency no heat call come in for the property, and we dispatched our contractor, and he came out and did some work on the furnace, and he noticed a small drip happening at the water heater. And so he put us on notice about that. And it was like a week or two later, we called for the replacement of the heater as well.
Do you recall the approximate cost of that?
I'd be guessing, but I want to say typically I'm paying about $1,100-1,200 for a water heater replacement, depending with the permit price and all that.
Understood. And do you recall the approximate price of the roof replacement?
Yeah, I want to say we decided not to do the garage, so I think it was between $5,000 and $6,000.
Okay, so despite the fact that the property passed the city inspection, once you made those three minor repairs that had nothing to do with the water heater or the roof, at that same time in fall of 2022, both the water heater and the roof were replaced.
Yes, which is not untypical for the way that SNS turns property.
Can you explain why explain the thought behind your response to the residents with your letter dated January 5th, 2023, Exhibit C of the counter complaint?
Yeah, Jennifer, when a tenant calls me in that scenario, I'm not in a scenario to say, yes, there's mold, no, there's mold, but we handle the situation, as if we were in the situation. So we took it very seriously. And that's why we gave Jennifer the option, and we said, hey, go, and there won't be any liabilities for you going. That's first and foremost. But if you wanted to stay with us, I do have property that I can offer you. You just got to see it. If there's something interested, we can go that way. So the logic was, Jennifer and Doug were ideal tenants for their entire time with us. And the goal was to keep them as tenants or keep them comfortable. You know, that at that point. And then I could assess the damage, if any, to the property, or if there is an issue after the fact. That's how we approached it.
After you found out that the keys were made available to you on February 13, 2023, did you yourself
Yes,
personally go to the property?
February 13th.
What did you find?
There was a lot of items left behind. That was mostly it. I didn't see any visible signs of mushrooms or mold growth on any walls or anything like that. You know, it just looked like a house that had been vacated and some of their items had been left behind.
Approximately, can you quantify the amount of items that were left?
Yeah, it
here?
was, I mean, we filled up a 30-yard dumpster of trash. It was a pretty significant amount of stuff.
Do you recall the cost of the dumpster?
Probably $700, $800 in that area, I would guess.
Okay. If I said that on the tenant's ledger, you assessed a charge of 600, would that sound about
That
correct?
sounds right.
Okay. And who was responsible for removing the
Me?
items?
Well, not me personally, but like my team of guys, yes. We went in there and it took about a day and a half to empty the place and get all the stuff in the dumpster.
And the approximate cost for that?
Couple $100, $400 or $500 probably.
If I said you assessed a charge of $500 on the ledger, would
Yeah.
that sound about correct?
That sounds right.
Tell me about the process of, from when you found out the property was red tagged to the city approving the removal of the red tag.
Sure,
What happened?
yeah, the city did red tag it, and the city red tagged it based off of the report that Jennifer gave them. The city was never in the property at any time. They took the report that was emailed to them and they red tagged the house. When we went in, we were searching, and we attempted to, we thought the room that was affected was probably the laundry room because of the ceiling leak at one point. So we started digging, and the worst of the area was found under the subfloor in that room, which we removed some subfloor and the vinyl and cleaned and kills and bleached and mildew or bleached and kills everything. We didn't have to replace any wood under there, any of the structure wood. The wood was still in good shape. And so we just, like I said, bleached, kills, and then repainted the structure under there, installed some new subfloor and a new piece of vinyl.
When you say killed, what is that?
Kills, K-I-L-L-Z is a product that's sold in stores that you can paint with. It's supposed to help, you know, make sure that anything that was missed is treated.
It's like a moisture barrier.
Moisture barrier type paint.
Let me get some clarity. So did you find mold there?
No,
Okay. You didn't see any mushrooms?
nope,
Do you see the picture that they showed me on the phone?
I did.
Oh, you didn't see that?
That was not there.
Continue.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Continue.
Oh, thank you. Did you notify the city of your repair efforts?
Yes, so we called the city immediately, obviously, as we would have to in any scenario where there's a red tag, because I have to work alongside the city to make sure that, you know, we achieve a level of repair that makes them comfortable. So when we had it all opened up, the floor underneath, we brought them in, we explained to them what our repairs were gonna be, and then we went ahead and did the repairs, invited them back in, and they gave us the green light to reinstall the subfloor and move forward and remove the red tag.
So to recap, the city saw it as soon as you.
The city saw it when we
As soon as
opened
you-
it up and then gave us the green light after we explained what our repair was going to be.
And then they
And
saw it again.
They saw it again, and then that's when they removed the red tag.
After you made your repairs and before they gave you the green light, did they ask you to do anything else, any sort of testing or any sort of, they being the city? ask you to do any sort of testing or any further
No,
remediation of anything?
no,
They just said you did a good job.
yeah.
Here you go.
Well, I mean, the removal of the red tag for me was their approval.
When you say removal of the red tag, the city doesn't physically remove the tag.
Right, in other words, they lifted the red tag, so I can now again use the property. We can move forward with red tag property.
I have nothing further here.
Do you have any questions for this witness?
No.
I have a question. You say you had to have the roof repaired. Was that because of some damage that was taking place in the property?
The roof? Yeah, so when I entered, there was signs of a past leak in the drywall. So like a stain head was up on the ceiling, like there had been a past leak in the ceiling.
Okay, what area of the home was this located?
That would be in that same back, I call it the back room, but it's the room where the furnace and water heater and washer and dryer hookups are located.
Okay, and where is that in proximity to where this bedroom is?
It's adjacent to that room.
And then that was replaced again in November 2022.
What was the roof?
That roof, yes.
Yes.
And the rooms were carpeted?
The room where the furnace and the water heater in is not carpeted, but the bedroom is
The
carpeted.
bedroom's carpeted?
Correct.
In your inspection, there was no mold on any carpets, no
Nope.
evidence of leaks on the wall?
No, I mean, we removed the carpet that was there. Like we didn't reuse any of the stuff in the house, but when we pulled up that stuff, there was no signs of any mold under the carpets in the bedrooms.
Okay, you don't have any photos of the condition of the property?
I do not.
Why would you return the security deposit?
I mean, like I said, Jennifer and Doug were ideal tenants, and if, I just wanted them to be comfortable moving forward.
But you're also telling me that you had to get a 30-yard dumpster to remove $600-700 worth of property.
Sure.
That they left behind.
That was all discovered by me after we had made that offer and agreement to Jennifer and Doug.
To return the security deposit?
Yes.
Okay. So once you got the keys entered and you see all this property, you had already turned over the?
Yeah, so I had been asking for a while for the key, and I finally had received it, and that was my first trip over to the property. Was when they told me.
In February?
Yes, when they vacated.
But you returned the security deposit in March?
Yes.
Okay, so again, why wasn't it discussed that they left a large amount of property there?
At that point, we had lost contact with Jennifer. I don't think we were talking back and forth at that point.
You sit there and check in March.
I don't.
You went in the property in February. Between February and March, why didn't you contact her about all this property that was left behind that you were gonna have to pay to remove?
I don't have an answer to that question. I don't know why.
You still have no questions, ma'am?
No questions, just a lot to say.
Okay, any
Just
redirect?
real brief redirect. Mr. Williams, in your opinion, when you sent the letter, and I believe Ms. Irwin and Mr. Redmond told you that they were vacating or they had vacated or whatever. In your mind, was that a verbal acceptance of the agreement saying that you needed to return their security deposit?
Yeah, more or less, yes. I wasn't expecting them when I sent the letter on the 5th, I didn't expect them to stay in the house to the 15th. But, you know, I thought the understanding was, hey, we don't ever want to be back in this house. But then it turns out that they stayed in the place for another, 35 odd days. So, yes.
By returning the security deposit, it was you upholding your end of
Correct.
of the bargain in the letter.
Yes.
That is correct. In a typical situation where a resident moves out and you find lots of property left behind or whatever, do you charge the resident and withhold that from the security deposit?
Absolutely.
Nothing further. Your Honor.
You can be excused from the stand. Have any other witnesses, ma'am? Want to say something, give additional testimony yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're going to give is the truth and the whole truth under penalty of perjury.
Of course, yeah.
Okay, what testimony were you trying to provide?
Well, first off, I just want to say we were good tenants as he was a good landlord. Sorry, bad house, and we have to come to this. But I just want to add that I feel like in October of 2022 is about the time that the mold problem had came and my kid just kept getting so sick. And
Did
so
you notify him? Because you, in your complaint, said you notified them in October.
yes,
How did you
and I
notify him?
did email, text message.
Where's the proof of that? Civil matters are won by evidence. You have to give me evidence to consider.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're saying you notified him? He said you don't. So when you say you notify him, your evidence goes like this, that's your testimony evidence. When he takes the stand and say you didn't notify him, now you're back equal. That's why I asked for, where's the evidence to rebut that he said that he didn't know in October?
I know, I forgot my old phone with all my emails and text messages, I know. But anyway, so in about October is when I found out the mold and everything, and that's why the water heater in the roof, because that room was leaking. And we were there when the maintenance man came to clean out the mold with that kilts and stuff. Cause I remember the maintenance guy, Dave, cutting a hole out in the wall and like showing us and ripping up the carpet. And that's when we got the stuff tested and everything. And the city council people and Joe McDonald from Lansing Housing Commission and Ryan Cost and Carol Woods, like we were emailing all them back and forth throughout this.
About the mold?
Yes,
When did you email them?
back in October, November,
Where's the evidence?
in my old phone.
Well, I need it. I need the evidence of them being notified prior to this red tag that there was mold. I
Okay,
need your mold guy here to testify that he came and did an inspection, and that's what this receipt is, and what was the result of his inspection. Those are the things that I need, and I'm going to adjourn it for that purpose. I've checked the city website. I saw that there was a red tag from January 10th, 2023 till May. I'm clear as to that. I have information that there was at some point a need for a leak or a roof to be replaced in close proximity to the time frame that she's saying that she found mold. I need some more evidence
okay,
from you.
yes, ma'am. When can I bring in that evidence?
I'm gonna give you your next court date. You need to, I'm not looking through phones for pictures. I'm not taking your word as to what a doctor said. If you want me to believe that your son had an issue from mold, you need to get the doctor here and you can get us to subpoena it, but it's your responsibility to request us to do that. If you want this mold guy, Michigan air and water testing here, then you need to get with our civil clerk, you go on the fifth floor and you request them to be subpoenaed here to testify.
Okay.
Your witnesses have to come in court and testify You can't just present this stuff and then I'm supposed to believe that whatever you said in background to that is true. They need Mr. Rich Walton,
Yeah,
he's gotta come to court and tell me what he saw,
okay,
okay?
yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna continue this to the next date so that you can get your witnesses here.
Thank you.
February 6th at 10. February 6th at 10. Have any questions today? Okay, I am going to these exhibits in the file. Any additional matters for today's message? You're all set. Get your notice, and then you can go down to 7. Thank you.